Hi, I'm Doi Pingu, and this is a guide to speedrunning all advancements in Minecraft 1.16.1, which is the most popular version for speedrunning. This guide assumes some knowledge of how to speedrun any percent RSG, and strongly recommends use of NinjaBrain Bot and AA tool. Watch the entire video before asking questions or doing your first run, but if you have questions, join the public AA community Discord. There are many additional resources linked in the description. Alright, the first thing you're going to want to do is download the AA tool tracker, link in the description. Follow the link, download setup.exe, go to your downloads, create a new folder, and put the setup.exe in the folder. And you're going to want to run the exe, click more info, run anyway. After the tool is done installing, you can close this, open a tool.exe, go to click don't show again on this, go to settings, application, change this to optimized, and go to overlay, enable overlay window, and copy this hex code. Now we're going to want to go to OBS, add a window capture for the tracker, change this to a tool stream overlay, click OK, right click, go to filters, add a filter. We're going to want to add a color key. Change this to custom, select color, and paste in the hex code. Now the tracker should look like this, and you won't need to really touch the tracker until we reach the mid-game of the run. Next, we're going to want to set up NinjaBrain Bot. So go to Settings, Optional Features, All Advancements, and enable All Advancements mode. You can set it to either automatically switch on End Enter or with a hotkey. There's some instructions here on how to use AA mode, and the Stronghold coordinates will automatically save. You may want to increase max RAM to at least 3 GB to avoid crashes and lag spikes later in the run, and also edit your standard settings config. The People Practice mod linked in the description includes Uneasy Alliance, Igloo, Raid, and Endgame Practice, with customizable inventories. You should reset for a temple and a village, and ideally a large flat desert and visible ocean. Don't play a village right on your spawn, because this will be a problem during endgame. When running around in the overworld, you want to be on the block entity pie chart. In nearly every seed, you should loot the temple first, and then go to the village. Blow up the temple to loot it. The main items you need from the temple are TNT and at least 10 gunpowder. If you see iron ore in the temple, it can be useful for an iron pick. However, entering the nether with a stone pickaxe is fine if you don't have enough iron. Get dead bushes for sticks on the way to the village. At the village, get 21 hay bales for a sack of bread, kill the iron golem, and find a lava pool to enter the nether. A clean inventory is important throughout the entire any percent split, so don't be afraid to throw items. Note, avoid relogging before you enchant, because you will lose something called First Enchant. First Enchant means if you don't relog, the very first enchantment will always be the same for every tool and armor piece, which is important later. Play the nether as you would in any percent, going to a bastion and a fortress. I will outline a few differences in the any percent segment for AA runs. For all bastions, you should aim for at least a stack of string, 2 stacks of pearls, 5 to 6 fire resistance potions, noting that 1 should be drinkable, 20 obsidian, and building blocks to use in the outer rest of the any percent split. This normally means looting the entire bastion as opposed to normal any percent runs. When looting chests, you also want to take a crossbow and arrows, as well as any debris you find. Do not quite 9 lives if you get 28 glowstones while waiting for trades. For bridge, make sure you get every chalice block and grab the lodestone. For housing, get at least the first 3 backup blocks, in addition to the usual 9, and check every chest for obsidian if needed. Stables, if there are 2 good gaps, you don't have to trade them both, but it is sometimes necessary. Double/triple are playable, but gaps are more consistent. Treasure, depending on where you enter the bastion, trade the top first, then pearl hang and loot bottom treasure. Break the spawner to pyrite for the fortress, get the bottom chest on all the gold, and any bottom treasure chests if obsidian is needed. If you don't have an iron pickaxe and there is no iron in the bastion, TNTing the gold blocks can be useful. After exiting the bastion, pyrite for a fortress. Blaze Bed or Blaze TNT as normal in the fortress, but save some TNT for the library Stronghold / Enderman. Home portal and runs without 20 obsidian is playable, but just blinding is bad because we want a portal directly in the Stronghold. Leave for the Stronghold with 12 Eyes of Ender, which means leaving on 7 rods sometimes. In the Stronghold, go to a library for a stack of books, paper, and useful enchanted books. Useful books include anything you will enchant for later. You can blow up the library to get books quicker as well as wood if you need any. 2 TNT nuts around 55 planks, which is plenty for the end / outer end. If you found one library and have less than 10 paper, look for the other library. Enter the end after killing silverfish in the portal room. You can 0 cycle the dragon, but note that you should shoot the dragon before the last explosive when both 1 cycling and 0 cycling to get kill credit. 0 cycling means that you need a mint is also backloaded, although this isn't a big time loss. If 1 cycling, half bow the crystals, get you need a mint, and kill the dragon with either crossbow cycle, axe, or TNT. Get up to 30 levels from the dragon for any anviling in the outer end. The experience orbs you leave behind will not despawn as long as you're in the outer end. Enter a gateway through swimming or pearling, raise your render distance to 32, eat a chorus fruit and look for an end ship first. If you need pearls, mine a 3x2x2 pit for endermen and blow them up with TNT. The first room you should loot in any city is a ship for an elytra. Don't go to any cities without an elytra before obtaining your first elytra. For your first run, you should aim for at least 3 elytra and likely 4 or 5. If you run out of elytra durability in the middle of the run, you can trade for a mending book if you don't have extra elytra or phantom membrane. Ships have 3 shulkers, 2 chests, and an elytra. It is common to do shulker transport from a ship because your shulker will typically have an unobstructed path to a gateway. Ships also have brewing stands. Grab 3 total brewing stands for endgame brewing. The other 2 loot rooms look like this. The tall room has 2 chests. The obsidian room has 1 chest and 1 ender chest. Mine the ender chest for obsidian. Get great view from up here by pearling or eating chorus fruit from 50 blocks above ground with levitation. You need at least 3 elytra, 31 iron for an anvil, and 4 shulker shells from the outer end. However, there are other items and armor that can be useful, as seen in the enchanting section. Combining needed enchantments is good in the outer end because these levels are more expendable. You can boat shulkers to stop them from shooting and teleporting. Ensure the boat is over a full block, as otherwise the shulker bullets might be able to make it through. You can move boats by sprint punching them. At each city, you want to check if there's a close gateway to transport a shulker to using the pie chart. You should use Shulker Yeet in most situations, including the main end island and fountain. First, turn on chunk borders with F3 plus G and move the shulker towards the edge of the chunk you are going to fly towards. Rod the boat and offhand the fishing rod. You can tell the boat is rodded when the bobber hitbox is not visible from the top. If the bobber hitbox is visible from the top, recast the rod, angle towards the gateway. Lower your render distance to 2 and fly straight forward. Every time you cross a chunk border after the first 2 chunks, raise your render by 1 after crossing the chunk border. When you are in the chunk the gateway is in, note your current render distance. You need to travel an additional 66% of the distance you have traveled so far. So divide your current distance traveled by 3, multiply it by 2, and add it. Travel this distance total, then fly up and pull the rod. Once you have landed the shulker near the gateway, make a bridge to the gateway and raise it up using the rod again. Sprint punch the boat through. When you are ready to leave, find a gateway using the pie chart if needed, and exit. On the main end island, bring the shulker to the edge of chunk 8, then yeet it by pulling the rod at about -80, 140, 0. If you have a cage spawn, you can mine the shulker out. Get the dragon egg. Put a boat through the end portal before sending your shulker through. This makes the shulker end up at your world spawn. Shoot the shulker boat to send the shulker through by aiming a little to the side of the shulker. After leaving the end, F3 plus C to copy the shulker's location to your Ninja Brain bot. Locate a clay/gravel patch in a river or a swamp if there's one close. This graphic shows which way to dig to find lapis. Aim for at least 25 plus lapis. Get at least 25 logs to make 15 bookshelves and tools you need to enchant. Place the bookshelves in a square around the enchantment table and an anvil in the empty corner. If you haven't relogged yet in the run, you can use first enchant. Most commonly, you will use this to enchant a diamond sword for looting 2. If you already have looting, you can enchant any tool with efficiency 4, a helmet with aquafinity, or boots with depth strider 2, with 2 bookshelves blocked. This graphic shows a list of all enchantments needed. Take a channeling book if you see it. To increase chances for unbreaking, you can block the bookshelves with string and reroll multiple times for enchantment. Down to level 22 is fine. Only after you are done with the enchantment table do you use the anvil and the rest of the levels. Mine the enchanting setup and save it for channeling later if you need it. You can also craft furnaces with the cobblestone you get from digging for lapis for endgame. You can customize your shulker box layouts however you want, but here are some shulker box layouts from top A runners as a start. After you finish enchanting, you want to get 35 to 40 cod or salmon from the ocean as soon as possible. Warm and lukewarm oceans will also spawn tropical fish, so try to kill your fish in normal/colder ocean temperatures. Get at least 2 milk buckets early on for looting monuments. Explore your spawn desert for temples and villages, and check near spawn for monuments and outposts. The closer to spawn, the better. You will likely have a low firework rocket count by this point, so focus on looting desert temples. Most of your time in the overworld should be in deserts and oceans, as most of what you need in the midgame comes from these biome types. Each temperature has different biomes with different advancements/goals. When you find a biome, pause and make sure it has registered on the tracker. There are 5 rare biomes: Badlands, Mushroom, Jungle, Giant Tree Taiga, and Snowy Tundra. Make sure to pause every now and then to check for miscellaneous tasks you can do, such as breeds, mob kills, miscellaneous biomes, and foods. When you breed 2 mobs, kill them if necessary for their foods. This chart shows how to breed all mobs needed for 2x2. This chart summarizes all the tasks you need to do in the 5 rare biomes. Use your hoe to get a stack of hay bales from the first few villages. Most of your cats come from desert villages. If you walk too quickly towards cats or move your mouse too quickly, they will run away. Breed your first 2 cats and sit down all the cats you tame. Sometimes cats are pathfinding to a bed and can't breed, so break the bed they are pathing to and they should breed. Temples have enchanted golden apples, gunpowder, TNT, extra minerals, and useful enchanted books. You want to have at least 2 stacks of TNT by the end of the mid-game for debris mining. Get 32 bones, 2 rotten flesh, 16 string, and 1 spider eye from the first few temples. If you haven't eaten rotten flesh and a spider eye yet, grab an extra of those as well to eat. Make sure to get sugarcane in the desert as well. Get enough sugarcane to match how much gunpowder you have. Take care of how many rockets you have throughout the run. If you see a Badlands, collect the 3 biomes for adventuring time, and get a cave spider kill in one of the exposed mine shafts. Blacksmith chests commonly have apples to eat. Also, look for a smoker house to trade with a butcher for rabbit stew. Once you have a decent amount of fireworks, you can explore the ocean. Ocean will be your second biome type priority of the run. In oceans, you do multiple tasks, including 1. Visiting ocean ruins for trident and 8 shells. 2. Looting monuments for beacon blocks and looking for monuments close to spawn. Lower your render distance to 2 when looting monuments to avoid getting mining fatigue. Mine these 2 blocks to find the gold blocks. Kill an Elder Guardian in the top room and a normal Guardian. Save at least 16 Prismarine for monuments per conduit. 3. Looking for 5 rare biomes for adventuring time and 2x2. 4. Killing 2 pufferfish in the warm ocean, as well as eating a tropical fish. A few things to note about oceans is that the temperature of the ocean is unaffected by the land biomes surrounding it, and dolphins do not spawn in cold/frozen oceans, which is important for how we get here. At a mushroom island, get the 2 biomes, breed mushrooms, and get stew by right-clicking a mushroom with a bowl. Get 2 brown mushrooms and a red mushroom. Craft a fermented spider eye with a brown mushroom, sugar, and a spider eye, and craft a blindness suspicious stew with a bowl, a brown and red mushroom, and an azure bluette. Check shipwrecks for a buried treasure map and poisonous potato. Make sure to get a buried treasure for Heart of the Sea and fish if you need to eat them. Also, smelt a kelp to eat dried kelp. Turtles are commonly found on islands in the ocean. Shear 2 seagrass to breed them. In plains, look for breeding horse, donkey, mule, pig, sheep, chicken, cow, as well as arbalistic. Donkeys can be hard to find, so you can use the entity pie chart. Hit 0 from the block entities pie chart, then 1 for the entity pie chart. Your pie chart path should be root.tick.level.entities.tick. Donkeys are pink on the pie chart. The higher the mob is on the entity pie chart, the more there are of the mob. Donkeys and horses can be tamed faster by feeding them 32 wheat first, then breeding with golden carrots. You can grow up baby donkeys with 4 hay bales, then 32 wheat. For Arbalistic, you need 5 unique mobs. Pigs, cow, and sheep need a non-crit pickaxe hit to pre-damage them. Getting at least 1 fish bucket can be useful here. You can also use a smooth stone slab, commonly found in villages, to make an armor stand for an extra mob. Dig a 2 deep hole for the mobs, pre-damage them, aim at the center, and shoot. Also, get 2 pumpkins and an azure bluette. Plains villages have potatoes and carrots. You need at least 2 potatoes for eating potato and baked potato, and usually 8 golden carrots plus 1 for eating. Additional carrots are good for breeding pigs and rabbits. For swamp, slimes can't spawn on new moons, and if you didn't sleep, the 1:30 to 1:40 night and the 4:10 to 4:20 night is when slimes can't spawn. Craft leads with slime balls and string because leads can be helpful for breeding certain animals. You also want to find a witch hut to tame a black cat. Black cats can sometimes be found in villages loaded during the first day. Flower forests are great for beehives, but if you're desperate, you can also pyrite in other biomes. Only get beehives during nighttime because otherwise the bees will come out of their hives. If you get a beehive with 3 bees, you will get total bee location, but if you don't get total bee location, you can get it during endgame with the hives you collected previously. Get at least 2 beehives and up to 4 if you want. Jungle is one of the 5 rare biomes. There are 4 tasks you need to do in the jungle. 1. Find all 5 jungle biomes. Don't check for pandas if you don't have bamboo. 2. Breed pandas. You can use the entity pie chart to find them. If you find 1 panda, put it in a boat and refresh the pie chart. If panda is still on the pie chart, this means there's another panda nearby. You can pyrite for the second panda if needed. If you find a baby panda next to an adult, you can feed it bamboo to grow it up. If your 2 pandas are quite far, you can do Panda Yeet, similarly to Shulker Yeet, making sure the panda is high enough to not hit bamboo. Place a 2 tall bamboo shoot next to the pandas if needed, and feed them bamboo to breed. If you have 20 obsidian, you can also do nether pandas. Build another portal next to the first panda, then go through and place a boat on each side. Go back through and send the first panda in. Build another portal at the second panda and send it in as well. Bring dirt and bamboo to the nether to breed. 3. Breed ocelots with 2 cod or salmon. The way to spawn them is to fly up to about Y170 and hover until they spawn. If it's night, ocelots will spawn much less, so you can overlap other tasks. 4. Eat melon and cookie. You can also trade for cookies and get melons from savannah villages. Find the 2 giant tree taiga biomes. Foxes spawn only in taiga biomes. They are fastest to breed during day when they sleep, but can also be bred at night. They don't run away from players who are crouching, including when that player is jumping or flying. Approach them while crouching and breed with sweet berries. Use leads in a boat if necessary. Wild wolves attack foxes. Wolves spawn in taiga and forest biomes, but are easier to see in the taiga. Tame with bones and breed with rotten flesh or any raw meat. It's usually not worth it to land at taiga villages for cats due to visibility being bad. Llamas can be found in mountain biomes. Tame with wheat like horses, but llamas only need 9 wheat. Breed with hay bales. Don't do llamas leadless unless there's a lot in the same place, because they will wander. Llamas can also be found uncommonly on savanna plateaus. Snowy tundra has 6 different sub-biomes, which can be found during the igloo tiering. 50% of igloos have a basement with a weakness potion, golden apple, a zombie villager, and a villager. Open the pie chart when approaching Snowy and switch to the block entities pie chart for brewing stand. If the brewing stand is in a village, you can break it and relog, then pyrite for the brewing stand in the igloo. Collect the trapdoor on the way down the ladder. Splash the zombie villager with weakness from the brewing stand and feed it a golden apple. The curing process ranges from 3 to 5 minutes. If you don't have redstone yet, give the normal villager the brewing stand and trade 3 emeralds for 6 redstone. Break blocks between the 2 villagers to let the normal villager be converted. Switch to hard difficulty, then kill it. Switch back to easy. The usual overlaps during zombie doctor curing are bullseye, a seedy place with beetroot and beetroot stew, fishy business, not today thank you, and endermite. Craft a target block with a hay bale and 4 redstone. Bullseye can be done by shooting arrows into a trapdoor placed on top of the target block, and then hitting the target block from 30 blocks away to activate the trapdoor. There are also many additional bullseye setups. To force Endermite, lower your render to 2 and throw pearls, then raise your render for all of them to land at once while only taking 1 pearl's worth of damage. Save 4 pearls if possible for crafting end crystals later. Lead 2 rabbits together and breed with carrots or dandelions. If Zombie Doctor hasn't finished yet, additional overlaps include but are not limited to hired help, crafting miscellaneous items, collecting sand or other blocks, and sniper duel. Strays spawn only on the surface of snowy biomes at night, so if you reach snowy in the morning, you'll have to find something to do to delay long enough that you leave at night. If you run out of terrain in the overworld to do new tasks, go to the Nether. There are multiple Nether tasks you need to complete throughout the midgame. Try to blind at least 500 blocks in the Nether away from your portal for new overworld terrain. From bastions, you should get gold blocks, obsidian, spectral arrows, netherite, and a lodestone from bridge. From fortresses, you need 3 wither skulls, 4 blaze rods, 4 soul sand, and 3 nether wart. Find a fortress that spawns lots of mobs, likely being a soul sand valley, warp forest, and or above a lava lake. Keep your render distance on 5 when in the fortress, kill wither skeletons until you run out of them, then raise your render and fly away 120 blocks, then fly back and repeat. Save at least 10 coal for endgame. Get 3 warped fungus for striders. Craft a warp fungus on a stick, then find 2 striders. Offhand a saddle and main hand a fungus, then click 3 times on a strider. Right click the warp rod, feed the other strider, and fly away. Kill enough gas to get 4 gas tiers and also get return to sender. There are 2 tasks you want to overlap with blinding, Uneasy Alliance and Zoglin Kill. For Zoglin, find 2 hoglins in a crimson forest and breed them with crimson fungus. Break any warp fungus scaring them. While they breed, build another portal, but don't go through until after they have finished. For both Zoglin and Uneasy, you need to load the overworld, then come back, then go through again. Get Hoglin Kill if you haven't, and lead the other one through to kill the Zoglin in the overworld. For Uneasy Alliance, find a ghast above land and not too high above terrain. Critical hit it with a pickaxe, then hook it with a rod and lower your render to 2. You want the ghast to be unloaded but hooked on the rod. If the rod breaks, rehook. Once the ghast is frozen, make sure it has a clear path to you and pull the rod. This will give a visual estimate of where the ghast will end up. If the ghast is close, place a TNT by where it will end up, then build another portal. Enter and exit, making sure that you fully exit the portal upon another re-enter. You only have 15 seconds to kill the ghast, so make sure to be quick here. Enter the portal again, light the TNT after, then raise your render right before you go through. You will probably get hot tourist destinations by simply flying around. There are a few non-bomb related tasks to keep in mind throughout the run. 2 birds, 1 arrow. During nights past an hour, change to hard to get more phantom spawns. When you have 2 or more, place a boat down and lure the phantoms into it. Axe each phantom twice and shoot with the crossbow with your looting sword in main hand to get more membrane. You can sleep and exit bed after this advancement, but don't sleep the full night unless you have thunder. Save at least 1 membrane for endgame brewing. Enchant for channeling after you get a trident. Land and reroll with books until you get channeling on it. If your levels go below 22 or you run out of lapis, use lecterns on a villager until they give you the channeling trade. Villagers can be very annoying during the night, so avoid trading with them unless you have to. Repair your elytra. When your elytra gets low, repair it with either elytra or phantom membrane. Don't sleep during the run. This resets the thunder cycle and phantom spawns. After you have very frightening, 2 birds, and membrane for how do we get here, you can sleep. If it rains, turn on clouds to see if it's thundering. They'll be much darker if it is. Go to the nearest village if it is thundering, make sure the villager's head is under the sky, then hit it with the trident. If the villager is sleeping, mine the roof of the house it's in, and hit it with the trident. Thunder does work in biomes like desert and savanna, even though rain isn't visible. If it starts raining and isn't thundering, note the time the rain started. Rain lasts a minimum of 10 minutes and a maximum of 20 minutes. Try to stay in the overworld the whole time of the rain. Your midgame should be complete after getting adventuring time, all mob kills except for maybe enderman, endermite, wither, phantom, and raid mobs, all foods except for pufferfish, suspicious stew, enchanted golden apple, pumpkin pie and honey bottle, all breeds except for bees, and all cats. You should also have a trident with channeling, 8 shells, an enchanted golden apple, 3 skulls, and 164 gold blocks. Once you've finished everything in the midgame, you can start doing your debris split. Find a nice area in the nether to dig down to Y15, preferably far from basalt. Dig a long tunnel, then run back while placing TNT every 4 to 5 blocks and lighting it. If you are close to running out of TNT, save 4 for the raid and 1 for Endermite if needed, and strip mine for the rest of your debris. After debris, fly back to spawn through the Nether. You will likely have Subspace Bubble already, but if not, make sure you get it right now by ensuring your last Nether enter was 875 blocks out in the Nether. Make sure you have all the necessary resources to start Endgame. This guide will teach how to do Endgame with Rabbit's Foot Skip, as that's what a majority of people do. Rabbit's Foot Skip is a way to skip needing a rabbit's foot for endgame brewing, and also requires that you eat an enchanted golden apple last during How Do We Get Here, which makes the timing 1.6 seconds tighter. This isn't a big deal with good execution, but it does make How Do We Get Here more difficult. At the end, there are additional resources if you don't want to do Rabbit's Foot Skip. Start by grabbing 45 sand, a couple of logs, and flowers for bees. The first thing to set up in endgame is bees, because their timing can be tight, especially if you don't have thunder or phantoms and can't sleep through the night. Craft walls and set up your bees. Breed them as soon as you can. Smelt your sand in 3 furnaces and debris in 1 furnace. Get a fish bucket and dig down about 7 blocks down after you hit stone. Don't build the wither in a cave or in a gravel patch. Empty the fish and punch it twice so that the wither explosion kills it for a wither rose. Build a full beacon with your gold blocks. Your smelting should be done by now. Craft 12 bottles, netherite ingots, a smithing table, a beacon, and end crystals if you have ender pearls. Use the smithing table and put 4 ingots on your armor and 1 on your hoe. Place the beacon down. When selecting effects, click on Haste, Haste 2, then Jump Boost. This should give you Haste and Jump Boost. Build a vertical conduit by your shulker. A vertical conduit gives you a free place to land your dolphin, and is also faster to build than a conduit in a river. Dig a 2 deep hole, and make sure there is dirt at the bottom to place a wither rose. Fill it with water. This is where we will do How Did We Get Here. Place 3 brewing sands and fill 2 of them with 3 water bottles and 1 with 1 water bottle. Add blaze powder and nether wart for 7 total awkward potions. Add sugar to the first brewing stand and remove 1 awkward potion to make 2 speed. Add a golden carrot to the second brewing stand and remove 1 awkward potion to make 2 night vision. Add a blaze powder to the third brewing stand to get a strength potion. Add a fermented spider eye to the first brewing stand with 1 speed, 1 night vision, and a water bottle, making 1 slowness, 1 invisibility, and 1 weakness. Add a puffer fish to the second brewing stand to 1 awkward potion to make water breathing. Add a phantom membrane to the third brewing stand to 1 awkward potion to make slow falling. Finally, add a gunpowder to all brewing sands to make all 8 potions splash. After your setup is complete, put a campfire under at least 1 beehive, and get your honey if you have 2 beehives. If you only put a campfire under 1 hive, don't stand too close or the bees will sting you and die. Also get an egg for pumpkin pie if you don't have it yet. Fly to your pillager outpost. If the outpost is more than 1,000 blocks away, you can nether travel to it. Fly up to despawn underground mobs and stay there until you see a banner pillager. Hit the banner guy twice with your sword, then shoot it with a crossbow. If there is a second banner guy, put it in a boat for after the raid. For raid, we'll use TNT to blow up the raid mobs. You need to start the raid on normal difficulty. There will be 5 waves. Approach the village from a cardinal direction with chunk borders on. When you see the raid bar appear, go 2 chunks further into the village and go down to 2 RD. Equip your chestplate and switch back to easy. Stay in this chunk whenever each raid wave spawns. During the first wave, remove any nearby water, obstructions, and blocks that raid mobs cannot spawn on. Kill the iron golem. When the wave starts, note where the raid mobs spawn, and remember this location. This is where we will light the TNT on subsequent waves. Kill all the mobs, and wait for the next timer. Whenever the timer reaches 2.5 notches left, light the TNT on this spot. Use TNT for the second, third, and fourth waves, but lighting TNT for the final wave can be risky. If you decide to use TNT on the final wave, light it when there's 1 notch remaining. Make sure the raid mobs have line of sight for the evoker to spawn a Vex to kill. Kill the rest of the wave to get Hero of the Village and complete the raid. Make sure you get the Totem of Undying and leave for the outpost. Kill a second banner guy, and you should have Hero of the Village and Bad Omen again. Make sure to not enter a village after getting Bad Omen for the second time. You can also nether travel to the monument if needed. On the way to the monument, throw out unnecessary items in your inventory. For how we get here, you need your hunger to be down 1 full notch. If you need to lower your hunger, you can take some damage. Once you have mining fatigue, it's time to transport the dolphin. Dolphin transport can be difficult, so make sure to practice this. Gain speed with Depth Strider, then rocket out of the water. Avoid making sharp turns and don't rocket at a downwards angle. You can land the dolphin in the conduit by flying towards it about 3 blocks above. If you have your dolphin at your How Do We Get Here setup and have at least 1 hunger bar missing, Hero of the Village, Bad Omen, Mining Fatigue, Haste, Jump Boost, and Conduit Power, you're ready for How Do We Get Here. Fill your hotbar with the 8 potions from the Brewing, then splash them all. Next, fill your hotbar with an axe, bow, pufferfish, blindness stew, enchanted golden apple, wither rose, and offhand spectral arrows. Get into the How Do We Get Here hole and check to make sure you can get Dolphin's Grace. Break the boat your shulker's in, wait for it to shoot, then shoot an arrow up so it hits you. Levitation and glowing both last 10 seconds, so ideally they're applied at the same time. If you miss your arrow, wait for levitation again, and then shoot again. Sprint down the water, and keep swimming while eating your foods in the order of your hotbar. Place the wither rose, and you should have How'd We Get Here. Drink milk, put the shulker back in the boat, and collect the rest of your honey. Fly back to your stronghold through the nether. You can do preemptive if you don't remember where your portal room is. Put 4 end crystals around the fountain to resummon the dragon. If you have any miscellaneous tasks that can't be done in the end, you can throw your items through minus the end crystals, and they will appear back at spawn. If you still need to do endermite, TNT endermen in a pit with looting. If you want to throw pearls on 2RD to reduce damage, you can either throw them on the shulker platform or go back to the outer end. You should also do post-mortal, sticky situation, and a balanced diet here. And that should be the end of the run. If you made it this far, thanks for watching. Use people practice to practice and have fun playing All Advancements. If you have any more questions, join the AA public Discord and ask in the AA help channel.